Welcome to Unsuccessful. We're your hosts, Jen
And I'm Brandy, and this is the podcast where we admit out loud
that we suck.
So if life has ever felt like a dumpster fire,
You're in the right place.
well, let's get into it.
This week on Unsuccessful, we're talking about something that hits deep, the struggle to ask for help and to receive it. It's not just about raising your hand when you're drowning. It's about the resistance we feel to letting support in and how that resistance is tied to our identity, worthiness, and the way we've been taught to give more than we ever receive. We're also unpacking the law of reciprocity, and spoiler alert, it doesn't work the way you think it does. This episode is going to take the pressure off asking for help and open you up to receiving in a way that could literally skyrocket your potential. Hit play, take a breath, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to know they don't have to do it all alone. Here we go.
Okay, let's start.
Okay. All right.
Welcome to Unsuccessful.
The podcast where we make it okay that you suck.
Yes.
It's different every time.
So today we're talking about asking for help and receiving help.
Yesterday I went for lunch with an old friend, and as we were chatting, we both realized that we went through like this dark time. We hadn't talked to each other for years. And he's in a business, he's a solopreneur, and I'm a solopreneur. I'm the only shareholder in my company. And he's like, we need to stick together. I said, why don't we do that? Why don't you think to talk to people and ask for help to that type of person who's in the same situation? Like, it didn't even cross my mind. So that's one of the reasons why. Another reason is that I put something out on social media where I was going to offer, well, I did. I just said, hey, if this is resonating with you, then let me know and we'll hop on a call. And, let's talk about it. I will teach you more, totally free, just because I like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that kind of fills my soul. If I can help other people out, no charge. I had 2 people respond and only 1 booked the call. And it was so fun. It was amazing. We've been chatting since then. She's like, this is crazy. I'm doing the things that we set up to do, just kind of like pull the blinders off. Let's take a look from an outside perspective as to what you're doing, everything from her business to her mindset to her self-image to writing some affirmations. But only 2 people responded and 1 booked. And I've like, again, how many people probably saw it and interacted? Like usually there's about 150 people that are seeing my stories a day. So 2. And so it makes me think and wonder, why are people skeptical of getting help from outsiders? Why are we skeptical?
That's one question. Yeah.
Right? And
yeah.
And why wouldn't we take people up on that free help? Like I did. How I started Teacup and my Jenny Bobeni, my crocheting company that I even started.
I didn't know you had a crocheting
company. That was like my intro to having my own business. So for a year, I crocheted, and I actually built up this little crochet business called Jenny Bobeni. Yeah, I saw the Instagram page, and I was making like leg warmers, toques. They're great. The ROI was terrible.
It's terrible.
It'd take 5 days to crochet a pair of leg warmers, in which case then I delegated out and had my employee, who was Nick, who secretly, he was the one making the leg warmers as he watched hockey on the couch.
I love this. Oh my gosh, this is great. Yeah.
But the way I started that was because I saw every opportunity. Anytime someone said free, I was like, sign me up. And I did it and I implemented. And I think that's how I learned so much so quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Jen, this is
always
lot
so deep. Hey?
There's a lot to unpack here. We only have 20 minutes today.
So let's focus on one. Which one?
Receiving
help. Like, is it okay to the hesitations behind saying yes to help, asking for help? What should we focus on?
Yeah, the skepticism of it, I think a little bit, like you kind of nailed it there. Yeah. I think there's a few things, like I think every single situation is unique and different. In your case here, there potentially is like quite a few things happening. One, it's I think some people are just really like ashamed to open up. Like there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of that. It's also a sign of weakness. For me, it depends on the type of help that I want to get, and I want to be in control of the help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I've learned. This is why this is a really big topic, because I've had to let go of that or I'm trying to let go of that and having more fluid, unsolicited advice, I guess, in my life. Like I think that is really important. Yeah. So there's like that insecurity level, people knowing you, taking up on that offer. Then it's all about like, people have to be, it's like the right place and the right time too, right? Mindset, willing to work, like
hearing the message
at the right time,
where you can absorb it and actually take it in.
And maybe that's a little bit about where I say like being in control. It's more just like being ready. It's just being to act. For me, it's about that. Like, I don't want to ask for help unless I know that I can, or receive help unless I know that I can act on it, even just receiving it. But sometimes I'm going to say that the receiving, that's a mental block for me. Like my own block, is that I have a thought process that it's going to require a lot of my effort. And sometimes maybe like that's like a shift, and you're already putting up like a guard, and that might not actually be the case. And actually, a lot of the time it's not. It's like, you know how when you're putting things off because it's like, oh, it's going to take me forever. It's going to take me forever. And then when you go and do the damn thing, it doesn't, it's like, there's a lot of things where it happens so quickly. So I'm thinking it's kind of like that sometimes, where we think, oh, so it's this idea of being ready, and that concept of never really fully being ready, for the help and to act and disrupting our lives and the change. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. And maybe too, for like our high performers, if you're going out to seek and you see those opportunities, I like this being ready to receive, what you said, being ready to receive, because that could be so many different things. I think that when you're open and you allow yourself to be open to receiving regularly, it's very hard. It's very hard for people. So shifting that perspective, like one of the things we focus on in like meditation is when you're meditating, I always meditate with my palms up, because you're open and ready to receive, and you open your heart so you can receive. But how interesting when we talk about receiving, how hard is that in so many different areas, not just business, but in love, like to be able to receive love from a partner without getting defensive or seeing that there's not a different motive there. That can be really hard. And it all comes back to this mindset, the mindset of being open and ready to receive versus being closed. I like that.
Yeah, but I also think there is an element of wisdom in it too, though. We have to, there's an element of discernment on who we ask for help, when we ask for help, and how much of it we act on as well. I think so there's I think there's a little bit of that too, because especially I think you and I can probably attest to, over time we've probably both been steered in different ways that weren't necessarily, we learned a lot from them, but they were failures and unsuccessful. And because we maybe blindly followed what somebody was saying to do or whatnot. So then you do get like a little bit more jaded. I wouldn't say there is an element you can be jaded, but I think over time you learn like to kind of keep your cards close and just have like discernment.
You get a little guarded.
You just, So, and that's what's hard, right? It's that lifetime of that. And that's where I think that fear comes in too, is like, well, I don't want to be steered the wrong way.
For me, I've worked really hard to be more open, and it's something that I have to work on all the time. And even to the point, actually, when my eyes were puffy, I had super puffy eyes. I think it's makeup remover, actually, is what it came down to. Both times. So like 2 years in a row, the exact same time of year. And someone on my social media, I reached out and I said, my eyes are killing me. And I looked terrible this one day I got on my Instagram stories, and this acquaintance, I wouldn't even necessarily say friend, I'll say acquaintance, but someone who I see now and again, sweetest lady, she said, let me bring you this castor oil, tea tree, almond oil. I was like, oh, and before I responded, I was like, why would she do that for me? That's so crazy. That's so nice. I'm like, oh, like I started typing, I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll just go grab some from Purple Carrot or whatever. And she'd mentioned it a few days before, and I still hadn't gotten out of my house to go to Purple Carrot to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Yes, thank you. I would love some if you have some. I don't have any. That would be amazing. If it can soothe this. And she said, okay, I'll come tonight. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I was so like grateful for it. But it was really hard for me to say yes to accept that from her. And that's something that I have to work on daily, accepting that help. It's hard when you think about it. So I do think that there are some rules around, yes, who you ask for help, who you accept help from. Because, yeah, like you say, as you start going through the motions and start to be open to receive, it can be like drinking from a fire hose too.
Yes.
So one of the affirmations I have, and I can't remember where I heard it, and I can't remember if I'll get it exactly right. And it is, like, I love affirmations. I love to just repeat them and write them down all the time, because I find that it gets me out of this like frantic energy, and it just really helps me relax, and I'll meditate and sleep on it. So one of them is, universe, I am open and ready for you to start conspiring in my favor to make my dreams come true. Like, thank you in advance, or whatever.
Isn't that that's from Notes from the Universe, isn't it?
Is it? It might be
very simple. I mean, there's like
it wasn't that. It was a lady on Instagram who I saw this exact one, but I've changed it to be like mine.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And so you say the things, and then actually in this affirmation it said, and I ask for a sign in my conscious reality to be able to understand and see what's for me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So saying that you're open and ready, I am open and I am ready. And then what can happen, what I found is like I said, the fire hose analogy is it just like comes at you and you're like, holy, what am I supposed to take here? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do this? So you can actually ask for it to be slowed down. And filter it a little. So if you're spiritual and if you're meditating and you believe in that vibration and manifesting, which we're going to talk about in the next few episodes, this is really important to keep in mind. I think that discernment also comes in, whether you're talking to the universe or you're talking to, George, the neighbor next door, is that the more you receive, the more you learn what's for you. And I think it's important when you know the direction that you're going, when you have such clarity in knowing the direction that you want to go and the things that you want to do, it gets easier to know what help to accept and be open to. So, for example, I love the analogy, you're not going to ask the plumber if you have appendicitis and you need your appendix out.
Yeah.
You're just not going to do that. You're going to ask the plumber their thing and their specialty. One thing I've struggled with accepting help is getting advice from business owners who don't have kids.
Yeah.
That's a real tough one. I tried working with coaches for a short period of time who don't have kids or are the father. I mean, it's easier with fathers. It helps with a different perspective. That has helped mine and Nick's relationship, but
dynamics. Yeah. You still learn from it.
You still learn. That's right. But as far as being the business person who's the mother and understanding those hormone shifts, responsibilities as that person, it's been a lot different too. So I've learned to look to certain people, whatever the goal is that I'm trying to achieve. Maybe it's not a tomorrow goal. Maybe it's not a 5-year goal. Maybe it's a 20-year goal. I will definitely take advice from the retired, successful businessman who wears there's one particular I'm thinking of, who I see in Save On all the time, and I give him a hug and I love talking to him, and he's been a big part of my life, and I will listen to him. And he is not my demographic, and he is not typically someone that I would seek advice from, but sometimes it is. Yeah. And so it just really, and that's where you can use your discernment to decide.
What was he wearing? What's he wearing? Because you said what he's wearing.
He just always looks so good. Like a leather, he like wears a hat all the time. Like one of those little like English hats. And
I love it.
He's like, he looks so good. Yeah. Like nice jeans, his nice loafer shoes, you know, and it's at Save On, always at Save On at the randomest times
Yeah.
too. I'm running into him. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's so interesting because there's this concept of where, like, I really struggle with asking for help because I want to learn it on my own, or figure it out on my own. And because it's like this idea that I'm not smart enough if I ask for help, to an extent, right? Like, because I think obviously in the learning and the figuring it out, you ask for help.
Yeah.
But I find what's so interesting, it's like it's also like a bit of like delegation as well. So the big picture of asking for help is, I think, aligned in like delegation and having other people kind of doing things for you, right? Like there's like, what does that help look like?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so that is something in the last, I don't know how, I think that has been my Mount Everest has been just like, I can do it. Or I like just telling myself that's an affirmation. Like by me asking for help or by me delegating this or finding somebody else that's smarter than me in this XYZ doesn't mean that I'm not smart, capable, could do it. It's just, I need to be smarter with my time, my energy, all these things. These are things that you learn over time. That is my thing. I have to constantly be like, okay, I'm frustrated right now. I need help. Right. And maybe I'd avoid a lot more frustration if I would ask for help sooner. But at the same time, too, it's always one of these things where it's like, how much do I need to do on my own? How much and when do you ask for help? Like my business partner, Chanel, she's very quick to ask for help very quickly. I'm not.
Who
does she
ask for help?
Everybody. So I've learned that. I've learned a lot from that. So now I'm much better. And I've learned that from her because I was just doing it myself, Googling, researching, trying, which again does serve me. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's a different shift.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I can totally relate to having to figure it out on your own. And as you were mentioning that, I was thinking about the times where I've hired people to help me figure something out. And
doesn't go well.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And so I'm almost thinking the times when there has been free help or free advice has almost been better than the times where you actively go looking for someone to help you. It's almost like if you're actively looking for someone to help you, you're desperate and you've tried and you can't and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like in those times, that's when I've gotten worse advice.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about, like when I've hired someone to help with this certain thing, I've always been let down. I've been like, I could have, yes, I found this on YouTube. I already know this. Thanks.
Yeah.
Tips.
Yes. This happens all the time.
Yeah, that's an interesting connection to make. You said something, I don't know where, when, it could have been on, I don't even know if we were just chatting one day, but you said something about leveraging your network. And for me, I really felt bad about asking people I know for help, advice, their feedback. I'm working on a project right now and I'm feeling, I don't know if it's going to go through. I don't want to waste people's time, but I really do need help figuring out some construction things that are out of my scope. And so Nick is so great because he goes, we did a lot for a lot of people for a long time. He said they would bend over backwards to help you. Are you kidding? Like, ask them. And I feel more like it's an inconvenience of, like, I don't want to inconvenience people. And I always have that. But so, I took a night and I went and I texted a bunch of people, just asked their opinion, shot them a picture. And they were like so quick. They're like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow. In a matter of a few hours, something that I've been stewing over this one opportunity for a year. And it went away and it came back. And now I'm like, let's get into the nitty gritty a little bit more, do some more research. And then it was, like I said, a few nights and a few hours of getting responses back to make me feel far more comfortable with moving forward. than I was a year ago. It's been a year. Leveraging that network and not feeling bad about it. Now, I did go ask for help, but I wasn't paying them necessarily. It was people that if they were going to do the work on this project, these are the people that I would hire to do.
Yeah.
They've been in my circle, that kind of thing. And again, a lot of them I've known for a really long time. We talk about leverage, especially in business, so much, and you can leverage like your finances. A big thing is leveraging the people you know.
Yeah.
Asking for help and not being afraid, and knowing that it's going to come back to you. It's not necessarily, it's the law of reciprocity. No, it's not going to come back to you. People think that they have to pay you back for it, or I'm going to think that I owe them something, but you don't have to. Just by giving advice out, it's going to come back in tenfold, but in areas that you don't even
That's something
know.
that I learned. I think that we need to share there too. I really like, there's that tit for tat experience that the law, like you said, the law or norm of reciprocity. I'll never forget, I was in university. It was one of the first concepts in marketing that we learned. Anywho, that's a lot of what people experience. And I think that when my mind shift changed on that, exactly like what you're saying, is I might give something to you, Jen, but then Jen, you're going to like give that back to somebody else. And then it's going to come to me through somebody else. And it is this balancing act, right?
Yeah.
But I will say, like, obviously one of the best things I think this is where that give and receive does come in to play, is that when I think about the people that I would text and I would ask, and those people that I trust and I've built the relationships with, those are the people though that I have personally been there to support them. I've gone out of my way, whatever that may be, to help them and make their lives easier in whatever capacity that is. And so, and again, it's not that it's expected or whatnot, but I'm just, I'm
there's
saying
no expectation.
There's no expectation, but there is a relationship. And I think, again, I'm of that. I've always wanted to just give a little bit more than I receive. I'm just naturally like that. I think women generally are just naturally like that anyway. Well, we were born that, like, that's what we're on the planet to do, is to give more. Don't overgive, because then you end up in burnout and all the things. And that's where we're at now. But
let's start a podcast and like have these really deep conversations for people of the world with no goal except to have fun.
Have fun. Yeah. Yeah. Anywho, I just think about, it's like, and that's sometimes what stops me, to be honest. Like, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm going to reach out to so-and-so, but I haven't really like helped them directly, or so then I have to constantly like, okay, it's okay. Like, how much have you done in XYZ, and just reframing it. So I think that I take comfort in that, like, just as far as like
trusting that you are a person who is giving.
Yes. That is huge.
Yeah. The habit is to give.
That is
so
huge.
Why not?
Yeah. And they say that with even just like money mindset and all of that. Right. And this like, we will have to talk about that another day, all the money mindset stuff, but it's the same. It's the same frequency. So
giving and receiving.
Giving and receiving.
And here's like something to kind of wrap it up, is that when people are, you know how it feels when someone comes to you for help?
Oh, I love it.
I love it. And so if someone, and if it's someone that I don't know, and if it's someone I have no relationship with, if it's a random person on my Instagram that I've never had like a brand new message in there asking for my help or opinion on something, I am like, you betcha. I mean, all depends. Now, on the personal side, coaching business side, yes. If it's a tiny home thing, I have people reaching out for me all the time who are like, what's your measurement from your loft? Okay. And then how high from the floor? Okay. And then I'm like, okay, pound sand, you're trying to build your own. Like, come on. Yeah. Right. So there is, again, the discernment that comes in.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to waste my time with someone who doesn't value.
And it's that value. You can always, you can tell.
Yeah. And the authenticity behind it. But yes, like, again, talking to the guy in Save On who I see, if someone reaches out, again, ask a simple question, and because they're learning or whatever. Like, I've done, sat on the couch one night and text, this was during COVID, someone who worked with my mom. She reached out randomly through a text. I told my mom, sure, give her a number. Didn't even think she would actually text me. She did.
Yep.
And and I just had this whole text conversation with her about how to start what she wanted to do very, very quickly to get this quick business going. And like within 20 minutes texting back and forth, she had a business plan. She had her step by step, and away she went. I don't know if she did or not. Didn't hear from her again.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah. I love that.
So if someone's offering help, I guess it makes other people feel so good. Give a donation. It makes you feel good. And it's just raising that whole vibration. You're going to help your situation and then they're going to help you. And you know what? All you can do is ask.
Yep.
All you can do is put your name in the hat, because you can't win unless you're in. And if you
can't win unless
you're in. So if you reach out to someone and you just bring it up, at least it's on their awareness.
Yeah. And if they say no and
then
there's an epic fail, then whatever, move on.
Move on. And usually they're just not going to answer.
Yeah.
And then you're going to run into them at the store 6 months later, and they're going to be like, oh my God, I meant to message you back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, unless you're like me and it's like I answered them in my head, but didn't actually.
In real life, didn't hit send.
Didn't hit send. Voice note. I was like, something happened, the technology, and then I'm on to the next thing. Oh, the number of times that happens to me.
Never send me a voice note. I won't listen to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm a visual person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any final words of advice on what people can get over to receive more help?
I think just the concept of this episode, just in and of itself, think about it. I think that's my advice, is like, think about it. I like the question. You know, are you open to receiving? What are you not open to receiving?
Who are you open to receiving from?
Who
are you not, and why?
And why? Yes. And then giving. I like this concept of, what do you like to give? Right? Like, I think, like you said right there, like, it was a really perfect example. It's like, some like business ideas or whatever on the personal side, you know, there's that. On this business side, I'm not as keen to share that, you know, for all these different reasons. So just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think that's huge in just your personal growth and development. Yeah. Like right there. So
awareness. Step number 1. There you go. Of our limiting belief episode that you can go back and watch.
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Are you going to do our sign off?
Yeah. What is it? You suck.
But so do we. So that's okay. We got to get better at that. Okay. Next week on Unsuccessful, we're sitting down with my personal friends, Rob and Gary from the Journeyman Collective, 2 incredible humans who turned some of the suckiest moments in their lives into a calling that now helps people all over the world. They lead expertly guided psilocybin luxury retreats, otherwise known as shamanic journeys, here in Canada, designed specifically for entrepreneurs, executives, and leaders who are ready to connect deeply to themselves, expand their multi-dimensional awareness, and bring new conscious vision into reality for life, love, and business. Their story is honest, transformational, and full of wisdom that'll shift the way you see success, healing, and what it means to lead from within. Make sure you're following, turn on the notifications, and get ready, because this episode is going to expand your mind and heart in the best way. Thank you for listening to the podcast where we help you suck just a little bit less. See you next time.